Hi everybody, this is Prophetess Dixon. Everything's okay with me. I'm just here to get my usual blood transfusions, infusions. I get them a couple of times a year. So I'm on here because I feel an urgency to say something that God has been dealing with me about. And I've been listening to Larry Reed live the last couple of months because a lot of the things that he has been speaking has been very prophetic. It has been things that God has dealt with me over the last 10 or so years, and dreams and visions and warnings about things that are coming upon the land. I didn't realize that when he was giving those things to me, they were 10 years and 5 and 6 years in the making, but they were, because he started giving me a lot of the things that's coming upon the land right now. God gave me in 2010 and 2011 and things like that. And I told those that were close to me, but I never was on a public platform, so I never mentioned it, the things that God had shown me. But I'm mentioning this today because this was very important to me. God said, get back to your spiritual roots. And he did it on a platform that was just for on YouTube, Facebook. It wasn't his private platform, so it was for everybody to hear. And when he was saying, back to your spiritual roots, God had been dealing with me with this during the first pandemic because I'm in New York. So in New York, we were on lockdown for months, since about March. And we're really just getting back in the swing of things. A lot of us haven't really been going out because we know how dangerous this is. So we've been kind of still barely going out unless it's necessary. God blessed us in New York to have good leadership. And he blessed us with a governor that could hear God's voice in the midst of everything that was going on. And he showed that in his leadership because we could have lost more lives. Now, the rest of the country is going through things that we have already overcome, and we're trying to help them. So be careful who you judge first, because a lot of times New York is judged because it's the city of sin and this and that. But God, we humbled ourselves. We bent the knee. We stopped doing everything we wanted to do, and we only did what we needed to do to reference that it was time for us to slow down, lock ourselves in, and do what was right. So we humbled ourselves to God, and God had mercy upon us. I hope that the other states would take heed to this and humble themselves to God so God can bless them. Okay, so for God's people, what Larry Reed said, getting to why I'm on this call, I get easily distracted. He said, get back to your spiritual roots. The things that you were doing that drew you closer to God, that built your relationship with God. I know, he was saying, I know a lot of things have happened. You might be hurt. You might be upset. It might be things that have changed in your life. You might have picked up some sins that you didn't used to do. You might be involved in things you shouldn't be involved in. So you're not walking the way you need to walk with God. But I'm going to reiterate it, God's people. He's saying for us to lock ourselves in and change back to the things that we used to do that please God. I know for me, I used to have a routine where I was always on that 3 to 6 o'clock watch hour when it came to prayer. I would always get up between 3 to 6. I would always pray, seek God, worship, read my word, meditate to God for the beginning of my day. I would always do my spiritual warfare and things. I stopped doing it. I know my problem was I was sick a lot, and I used to get frustrated. Then I was going to a church where the minister kind of broke my spirit, and I am a people person, and God had to show me that I was serving him, not man. And no matter what somebody else does, you can't get lost up in things. My father had died. I started drinking heavily. I was just all over the place. And God had to bring me back. And he's been bringing me back more and more during this quarantine. But he also has made it evident that I have to get back to what were the foundations that made me closer to him. And that included my prayer time, my meditation time, my reading my word, listening to my word more than once a day. all throughout the day. Seeking his face all throughout the day. My affirmations. Reminding myself who I am and the goals and the plans that I have. God's people, we need to get back to the things that build us. We need to get back to the things that bring us our strength. A lot of us have gotten caught up in things. No matter what you're caught up in, get out of it. No matter what you're entangled in, ask God for forgiveness and move on. But get back to what's important to your spiritual life and your spiritual growth. The enemy is lurking to kill, steal, and destroy, and you want to make it out of this season. Humble yourself, seek God's voice, so you make it out of the next season. Get back to your spiritual roots.